Well, good morning, everybody. Today is November 14th, 2025, and we will be decoding the 1988 film called Big, B-I-G, with Tom Hanks, of course. And we do know that 88 is that famed time travel number, isn't it? Now, what makes the film interesting is that it released 11 days before Donald Trump's 42nd birthday, and you're going to see the number 42 appear inside this movie on a street sign, and I'll show you that later in the decode. But then there's this. Now, I missed this the first go around, but this is insane. What you're going to see is Little St. James Island, depicted in the movie as a seedy motel, and the inference is striking as Tom Hanks literally looks as though he's checking into the hotel to abuse the little boy. Checking into the St. James Hotel, like Little St. James Island. Here are some screenshots. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the actual clip, and then we'll get into the rest of the film. But I thought this needed to be highlighted.
Okay. Oh, not really.
Hey, this looks okay.
No, it doesn't.
St. James, Josh. It's religious.
St. James, it's religious. They check into the hotel, and he's wearing the red corduroy jacket. Now, I looked up the red corduroy jacket to see if I could find what that might represent. We know about the red shoes, but I couldn't find anything about the red corduroy jacket. The closest thing I could find to the red corduroy jacket was Jack from the movie The Shining. Wore something similar, but not the same. Now, let's back up to the beginning. And the story opens with Josh, played by Tom Hanks, the younger version of Tom Hanks, and essentially his heart is broken because he can't get the girl he wants because he's too short. This is Josh here. He's too short to attract the crush that he has on this other girl, so he wishes that he is big, and he makes his wish on the ZO-ltar machine. It's a fortune-telling coin-op machine, and this was common in the 70s through the 1990s. ZO-ltar. Now, if you're new to the channel, you got to back up to our ZO-OZ decode, the OZ, the Oz matrix, because it's all about sleep, the land of sleep. And in fact, after Josh makes his wish, he goes to sleep and awakens as Tom Hanks. Let's take a look here as Josh approaches the machine and inserts a quarter.
Got 25 cents here.
Now, in case you didn't know, in the background is the George Washington Bridge, which opened 66 years ago. Now, Josh has to aim the quarter into the mouth of this figure. And we'll discuss the significance of the coin in the mouth at the end of this decode, but let's keep watching. Now, notice the breath effect, and there's something to that as well. So Josh receives the wish, but again, it doesn't take effect until the next day. And now we know what that means. ZO-ltar. Oz backwards. The land of Oz, the land of sleep. The poppy fields. Dorothy and her dream.
Wish is granted.
As far as I can tell, the land of Oz is the space, listen closely, the space between possessions for demons as they travel down through time into the last days. And apparently there's a gap, and in these gaps is this world of Oz. There might be fairies and witches and munchkins and clowns and all these things. Let's keep watching. Now, let's back up here because, again, I want you to notice that ZO-ltar is breathing something out, right? What could this represent? This breath. Well, I believe the breath coming out of his mouth is the unclean spirit that possesses Josh. So instead of the breath of life, this is the breath of death. Josh then awakens in his new host body as Tom Hanks. He's big. And the first thing you see are twin giants in the background and a soccer ball. Now, as far as I could tell, these reanimated fallen ones likely need adrenochrome to survive in their new body, which is what the soccer ball represents. The adrenochrome molecule is the pattern on the soccer ball. It's a pentagon on top of a hexagon. Let's keep watching here. Remember, this is about the twin spirits inhabiting the body, twin giants. Now, in the next scene, these next couple scenes, Josh is trying to convince his mother that it's really him, but all she sees is a half-clothed man running through the house. This probably represents when they are born, obviously, their birthday suit, right? Let's keep watching here.
Oh my God.
Breakfast is ready, Josh.
Now, the George Washington Bridge in the 66 years is very important as well. Should probably pull that up for you guys. George Washington Bridge. Because you're also going to see the number 99, which is the inverse of 66. See if I got that right. Okay, no, not exactly. Oh, here it is. It started construction 66 years ago. So that's the twinning, right? Let's keep going. Josh is chased out of the house by his mother. He's wearing a Giants sweatshirt.
I made this wish on the machine.
He comes back home and you see the Beatles. They're big, and this is a songbook. I had to look this up, and it was probably put there because of the big reference, right? And she's freaked out. She does not believe it's Josh. See, it says Big Note. That's the Beatles' Big Note there. There are 88 keys on the piano. More time travel. Listen to this next part. Because Josh tells his mother he's trying to prove to her that it's him, and he was born on the 3rd of November. Now, of course, the 5th of November is the portal date. The very end date, the last date of the Samhain festival on the witch's calendar. And this is when possessions happen. It's a window. The window goes from October 31st to November 5th. This is when the veil is thinnest. It's when the Pleiades are highest in their zenith. And the date floats between the October 31st and the 5th of November. God named the Pleiades in the book of Job. And you have to wonder, maybe this is when God's active force upon the earth is furthest away, maybe. I don't know the dynamic of why evil heightens on the 5th of November, but it is what it is. It's a known thing, and the evil ones chose this date for a reason. So Josh's birthday falls right within this Samhain season. Watch.
Carnival! My birthday's November 3rd, Mom. I gotta be in my history test. I turned into a grown-up, Mom.
Guy comes from...
Then we get something I had forgotten, because we had already decoded this, remember? But here's something else that I had forgotten. A direct 9/11 reference before it had happened. In fact, 13 years before 9/11. And Josh is 13 years old in the film. But yet, on the milk carton, we're going to see the date September 12th, one day after 9/11.
Data processing.
Terrific. That's just terrific. This is just terrific.
You're being paranoid, Paul. Guy comes from data processing.
Terrific. That's just terrific.
Now, I had to screenshot this because it's at the very bottom of the frame. It almost missed the frame, but there's the date, 9/12/1987. And now looking back, we realize that 9/11 fell just outside of the portal of Samhain, right? Because it's the fifth, I'm sorry, not the portal of Samhain. But we've got him on the carton missing, and this is the halfway point to 9/11, isn't it? It's a very halfway point. The 14th year after the towers opened was in 1987. And we found that about a decade ago that towers opened in 73. 14 years later was 1987. 14 years after that, they fell down. So this was the halfway point here. And what else? We also found that these milk cartons are actually symbolic, aren't they? We found that the dimensions of these milk cartons were magnitudes of the Twin Tower. I think we found that exactly 2 of them tall were the exact dimensions of the Twin Tower, and it might have been the quart size and not the half-gallon size. I don't remember exactly. But we did a study on milk cartons and compared them to the dimensions of the Twin Towers long time ago. Now, since then, we've also figured out the code to the milk cartons and what they actually mean, because in the Hebrew language, there are no vowels. So the name Molech from the Bible is actually spelled M-L-K. There's no vowels. So Molech is milk, and that is human sacrifice. We have confirmation of this from the festival of Lupercalia, in which they poured milk and mixed it with blood. That's where you get the pink color. And this is where Valentine's Day comes from, which is why they use pink, because they would sacrifice a dog and a goat and mix the blood with milk, and it would turn pink. So all of our holidays come from pagan roots, and Valentine's Day is one such holiday, finding its roots in Lupercalia. But let's get back to this. Red and white milk cartons, human sacrifice, missing children. What is this really about? Well, you wouldn't believe this unless you talked to a person that works at a dairy. But essentially, the reason why they put missing children on milk cartons was because the calves go missing from their mothers at the dairy after they're born. Why does this happen? Because the mothers produce more milk. And what happens to these calves? You know, some dairy farmers are ethical. This is not all dairy farms, but this was a common practice. But others will rehome the calves. But the very fact that this fear and anxiety and pain, emotional pain of the animal is happening, missing their calf, but still having to produce the milk, being constantly reminded that their calf is gone every time they're milked, is just a tragedy. Now, a lot of dairies don't do this anymore, but this was common in the 80s and 90s and even into recent history. This is crazy. And some of you who worked at dairies can confirm this. Please do that in the chat so people know we're not just making all this up. I researched all of this. This is why they put missing children on the cartons. It was all a big joke. Well, let me check in with you guys and we'll keep looking at this. This is crazy. You're going to see more 9/11 confirmation. It wasn't just that scene on the milk carton. You're going to hear it again here. I know this isn't good news, but this exposes the deep, dark roots of predictive programming, and this needs to be known and seen by everybody who watched this movie and who loved this movie. Didn't even realize they were being programmed. Let's keep watching.
This is just terrific. With a possible...
Because next, as Tom Hanks is playing with a building, we see a caped comic on the wall. That's an airplane. And he actually talks about flying insects, transformers, instead of transforming buildings. I don't think I captured that clip, but that's the dialogue and script. And listen to what he says as he's giving the presentation, as Tom Hanks is playing with a building 13 years before 9/11, and he's 13 years old in the film.
Will carry over into the 12-year-old. The focus testing showed a solid base in the 9 to 11-year-old bracket.
Are you awake yet? I hope you are. Wow.
When you consider that...
It's like they cloned some party in 1983 and...
Now, this next part is a dialogue between Tom Hanks' love interest. Now, he's not into this girl, but she essentially seduces him because she doesn't know that he's a 13-year-old boy in a man's body. And for some sick reason, she's attracted to his innocence, his naivete, and the fact that he doesn't want to sleep with her. And that somehow attracts her to him. And she talks about this bizarre point in history, 1983. Now, this was the year that Trump Tower opened. I'm not making a connection to that at this point. But she talks about these parties being so boring that they were something cloned out of 1983. But what are they really talking about here? What are they really talking about with this cloning thing? You know, the whole movie is about a bigger version of a child. You see, in MK Ultra Monarch mind control programming, it's trauma-based. And what it does is it splits off the child into an inner child. It's a paperclip effect, which is the basic shape of a paperclip. It's one smaller shape within a bigger one, right? It's like Russian dolls. A mini me and a big me. It's like a fracturing off of the personality. It's a twin spirit, and this is how the mind protects itself. And for some reason, these people were fascinated with this. This isn't the only time we found this in cinema history. It's sprinkled throughout, especially during this era of cinema history. But let's listen to the dialogue here about 1983 and these parties being clones of one another.
You consider that...
It's like they cloned some party in 1983 and kept spinning it out again and again and again.
I believe what they're really talking about here is a point in this Samhain festival, and there must be like some kind of cycle, you know, like let's see here. When was the last New Fire ceremony? We have another one coming up in let's see, on 2027. So let's see, 27. Wow, was 1983 the last New Fire ceremony? It's 2027 minus 52 years. If that's the case, then this is probably what they're talking about. Every 52 years, the sky opens up and they're able to clone something on some level. Now, again, all the details of this will be revealed after Jesus' return. We're shooting in the dark here. We're just trying to figure this out because obviously something has happened to humanity. 99% of humanity is fast asleep. They don't understand that we live in a right-left paradigm. People vote, they pay their taxes. People are completely asleep and powerless to the evil ones that rule this world. So we're trying to figure out why. How do these people have so much power to mind control the entire human race? And so this is what we're doing here on this channel, to try to figure it out. Now, what else do we have? Well, this next iconic scene in which a grown woman tries to seduce a boy in a man's body, and she's wearing the number 99 on a jersey.
All the same people having all the same discussion.
'99. Remember I told you the George Washington Bridge 66 years ago? I think that we were meant to find this at exactly this point. Remember, the abuse causes the split. And twin numbers is the twin spirit. 99, 66, it doesn't matter which number. Any twin number you see is representing the split. And of course, this is at the point where spiritually the abuse takes place. There's all this innuendo as she's doing a sleepover at his house. And he's like, I'll take the top bunk. And so there's all this innuendo. And she doesn't actually do it in this scene, but this is spiritually where it happens. And this is where the split would occur. Big Tom Hanks, little Tom Hanks. Now, as I stated earlier in the show, when we opened the show, Trump was 42 years old when this movie came out. Well, 11 days before his birthday. And watch this.
Hey, Billy, get off!
42nd Street and Times Square. There's New York in the background, and there are the Twin Towers. 11 days. The Twin Towers, 11. Before Trump's 42nd birthday, the Times Square Traveler of New York. And there's the Twin Towers again. It's all right in your face. Let's keep watching.
Billy, get off the phone. Listen to your mother.
And there's something about the phones. The phone is the copper wire. It's however they're doing this has something to do with the copper wire and phone booths and phones and coins. All right, ZO-ltar, the coins. It's something about that. And again, all this will be revealed, when Jesus returns and all the scrolls are open and we get to see all the truth. I don't know how much of this will actually be accurate, but it's the best we can tell at this point. And look where the soccer ball is. Under the bed. The stuff of children's nightmares. Remember, Tom Hanks was on the top bunk. So what you're seeing here is a repeat from the movie Monsters, Inc., in which the soccer ball was under the bed. Let's see if we could find that. Monsters, Inc. Bed. Let's see. Well, here's where it was, but we need to see under the bed. Let's see if there's an image of that. Oh, here we go. Let's see if this one will show us here. Oh, come on. Anyway, there is a scene. You can see the soccer ball under the bed, which is a peculiar place for a soccer ball to be, right? Obviously. Now, let me check in with you guys. We'll keep going. Hopefully this is all making sense, and I can expand on some of this if it's a little bit confusing. But those are the facts. Now, there's an interesting aspect to the ZO-ltar fortune-telling machine. And I missed it until this moment. The challenge of the machine is to try to get the quarter to fall into ZO-ltar's mouth, remember? And what came to mind was the miracle of the coin in the fish's mouth that Jesus did in the Bible. Everything is blasphemy to these people, okay? Everything. So coin in the mouth of evil, coin in the fish's mouth of goodness, which is Jesus. Jesus represents the fish, right? Because he was born in at the advent of the age of Pisces, which is the two fish. His ministry was about feeding people with 2 fish. He fed an entire crowd with 2 fish. I think he did it several times, unless the story was repeated in the Gospels. And, of course, the Pisces symbol is 2 fish. And the symbol of Jesus is the 2 fish, or 1 fish. And we know that the center of the vesicle Pisces is a fish, isn't it? Now let's keep watching here. Now, Tom Hanks finally admits to his girlfriend that he is a little boy, and she doesn't believe him at first. So she goes through his wallet to find clues. Watch.
I don't want to hear it anymore. You constantly bring... I don't want tone. What tone?
I'm 13 years old.
Oh, and who isn't? You think that there isn't a frightened kid inside of me, too?
No, I mean, I really am 13. It was called a ZO-ltar machine. It had this bobbing head and it looked just like a devil. And if you got a cord in the devil's mouth, you can make a wish. And I did. I made a wish on a machine. It was called a ZO-ltar machine.
Oh, stop it.
She goes through his wallet and she finds a Don Mattingly baseball card stuck together with chewing gum. Now, Don Mattingly is still alive. He is 8 times 8 years old. I think we were meant to find this right now. He's 64 years old right now. And he was born on 4/20, which of course is Hitler's birthday. Now, I forgot to mention, there's more phone aspects to this to confirm what I'm saying. It just wasn't the few times that we just saw his best friend calling him and, you know, the phone. There was also a phone in the hotel on the wall. And essentially, Tom Hanks calls the phone for comfort after he gets a stomachache from eating all the candy. And he's all alone in the hotel because his friend can't stay the night with him. He's alone. Wow. Yeah, let's keep watching. I don't know what the gum represents. I don't know if you guys have any ideas about what that represents. Let me go back in the chat and see what input you guys have before we kind of finish up this decode today. Wow, 8 times 8 years old, Don Mattingly. And it's Don, like Donald Trump, right? Let me type it in the chat here. Born on 4/20. All right. Good morning, everybody. Now, of course, Hanks finds another ZO-ltar machine, and he turns back into a boy, but now he has all the knowledge of a grown-up. Do you see what's happening here? Let me try to break it down and explain it to you. Hanks is a demon. He's waking up in a new body down through the ages. Except he has the knowledge of the past and how the system works, who is in control of everything. And this is how these people have become rich and powerful and have ruled the world. They can basically make money out of thin air. The rest of us are asleep. The rest of us are slaves. Just like in Egypt. The ancient Egyptian pharaohs had the ancient technology. They were downloading their bodies into new bodies and their spirits. This is why they preserved their organs in the canopic jars, because they would make golems out of them and then possess them with the new spirits. This is why the ancient pharaohs were depicted as giants compared to the rest of the people. This is how they were able to enslave God's people. The 12 tribes of Israel, which were of the pure bloodlines, they did not mix with the other bloodlines. Are you awake yet? I hope you are. Now, the gum, the pink gum, could represent the adrenochrome, I suppose. So that's something. Let's go back to that image here. That could be like the adrenochrome, right? Wow. And the Hitler connection could be experiments maybe he was doing. Ooh. Mengele comes to mind. He was doing research on twins. Wow. And Don, the Don, from the land of Nod. is pushing IVF, which is twins. Because they're working on something, aren't they? Why else would our government pay for women to have IVF treatments? You guys, this is insane. Now, this whole film takes place in the fall time of the year, because remember, Tom Hanks' birthday is the 3rd of November. The fallen ones. Let's keep watching here. So, of course, Tom Hanks turns back into a little boy. He offers to have his girlfriend join him and get turned into a little girl, but she declines. She doesn't want to grow up again. And that's it. Wow. What a shock, right? Now, let me go back in here. Now, we're going to try something a little bit different. Many of you probably saw the uploads happening from last night. And so what that was about was YouTube isn't sending out the notifications. They've shadow banned this main channel. So the only people that are showing up are the people that know to show up every day. No new people are coming, right? So if these live shows seem to be getting censored and are not going out to the wider audience, I will be re-uploading them to the backup channel a few days after we go live, right? So the videos that you saw from last night were from a couple, 2, 3, 4 days ago. And they got stuck at like 4,000 views, 3,000 views on this channel, which of course, that's hogwash, right? Those were very good decodes and they needed to go out to the wider audience. So this way, you'll be sure to catch the show. Either you'll catch it here or you'll catch it on the backup channel. And so if you see this same show twice in your feed, just ignore it if you've already seen it. And this is just a better way for us to be able to catch all the live shows, I think. So we're going to try that for a while. Hopefully it's not too annoying, but this is what we need to do, you guys. We got to try something, right? Now, the backup channel links are all listed under the channel section of this main page. So if you're on a mobile device, pull up the main page and swipe over and you'll see a channel section, and it'll have 3 or 4 channels listed. Those are all my backup channels. So, and you can subscribe to all those, and then that way you'll be sure to catch the live shows. Okay, I'm in the chat, you guys. What a trip. And I worked on that decode all day yesterday, pretty much. And it was insane. Couldn't believe what I found. Almost missed the St. James thing, but I came back to it. Thanks, Zuzu Pedals, for being consistent. Thanks to you guys who do try to share the videos. Yeah, the thumbs up do help. Yeah, he's wearing the giant jacket, Isaac. Yeah, because he got transformed back into Josh the boy. Thanks, Danelle. Thanks, Marcy. Thanks, Heath. So, what else you guys want to talk about? Thanks to Carlos for all the gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Yeah, they fall back to sleep, back to the feet. Yeah, there's something about the fall, right? Okay. All right. The big St. James. Yeah. Ooh, good one. Good, good, good. So, little St. James, big St. James, right? Again, another metaphor for the movie Big. Big within a small. So there's a reason why they called it Little St. James. Wow, right in our faces. Good job. Who was that? Was that Betty said that? You guys have your thinking caps on. That had to have been a connection to Jeffrey Epstein, right? It had to have been. There's no other way to cut it. And that was back in 1988, you guys. 1988 when the movie came out. All right. Building a new data center in Florida. Yeah, Isaac, they won't stop. And they're spending billions, trillions of dollars to build our enslavement. We don't need data centers. What we need are jobs The internet's already good enough. We don't need all this stuff. But they keep telling us it's to compete with China. Right? Even though Trump's letting hundreds of thousands of Chinese students into our country to go to school. If you just sit and think about this stuff, it's obvious that they're lying to us. It's obvious. But people are stuck in the paradigm and they want to believe their side is right and holy and good and benevolent. Yep, Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Honey Milk Ranch. Yeah, I'm in California still with my family. Spending some time with my mom. She fell the other day. She's okay, but, you know, I need to be here right now. It's good timing for me to be here. And someone broke into my car, as you guys saw on the Facebook. They didn't break anything or anything. Went to go file a police report. And went online and there was no entry to report someone rummaging through your car. So apparently that's legal to do. So people can just rummage around. As long as nothing's broken or stolen, you can't file a police report. Welcome to America. Lawlessness abounds, and yet all of the focus is on all the wrong things, right? You can't even leave your car on the street in most places in America. And then you pay the tax. When your window's broken, you have to pay the insurance, and your insurance costs go up every time you report a broken window and have it fixed. So they're getting their money back. It's not like you pay this insurance and you're getting a deal. No, they'll get their money back as insurance rates continue to climb. So, look, I know that a lot of people have a lot more problems, and so I'm not complaining about someone rummaging through my car that got caught on camera. What I'm saying is, it's another sign of the times. Here we are giving away trillions of dollars to other countries, and we can't even secure our own vehicles. We can't even provide in America a baseline way of life for all Americans, which would be your possessions are secured, that your labor, no matter what it is, I don't care if you work at McDonald's, your labor is important. And that labor should afford you a level of living in America. Maybe not another country that doesn't have a robust economy, but in America with billionaires and trillionaires running the country, there should be a minimum lifestyle, shouldn't there? Otherwise, they can flush it all down the toilet. We don't need their billionaires and millionaires and trillionaires. Flush it down the toilet. You can't give every American a garage to secure their possessions. If you can't monitor the streets, have a patrol car driving around so that when people are walking around at 1:30 in the morning, you know, I mean, seriously, someone's walking around at 1:30 in the morning. There aren't that many people doing that, right? Send a patrol car around and stop and talk to the person. Hey, if I'm walking around at 1:30 in the morning, I expect that an officer in a patrol car is going to pull over and have a discussion with me. Hey, are you out for a walk? Yeah, I'm out for a walk. Right? But instead, we've got the opposite. We've got police departments harassing people for all the wrong things. We've got police officers writing people tickets for driving 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit. We've got all this, you know, this reality doesn't make any sense to me. And I know I'm not the only one who's had their window broken. You know, people watch TikTok. You see people on TikTok and they're in their car or something. And you look and there's people with their windows taped shut. Right? So a lot of the rants we do on this channel are not just for me. It's for all of you who have to suffer through the same things, right? So I feel like it's my responsibility to be a voice for all of you who have had to go through this, who are right now currently have tape on your window because someone broke your window or someone stole the last $20 you had out of your center console. And they don't even care that they're on camera. That's the crazy thing, because they have hoodies and they know the police aren't going to do anything because nothing was broken or stolen unless something is stolen. So anyway, enough of that. What else is going on? Okay, Earth Ether says alter Oz. So that's ZO-ltar scrambled. That's good. The Altar of Oz. Wow, good job. And yeah, the kiosk is like an altar, isn't it? Good one. It's an anagram. Okay, what else? Yeah, so yeah, my mom was in the garage grabbing some cups and she like fell, and then the shoe rack that I put together like went down, and I came out and there were shoes everywhere. And I'm like, Mom, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I just fell down. So Zuzu says, been saying since, whoa, Britney Spears world stage, she looks like Marilyn Monroe in our lifetime. Yeah, sometimes I wonder, some of these people from the vintage era look like the people from our era, don't they? And you have to wonder. Sometimes I wonder. There's a really creepy one. It's, gosh, what's her name? The girl from E.T. There's an old vintage image of like her great aunt, and it looks just like her. It looks almost exactly like her. Yeah, she's okay. She's just a little sore. I asked her, how you feeling, Mom? She goes, yeah, my side. I think I pulled my side a little bit, but I'm okay. Fortunately, my mom's pretty active. She walks every single day for 2 miles. Yeah, Drew Barrymore. Thanks. Oh, let's look it up. Drew Barrymore. It's like her great aunt. Let's see here. Oh, man. Barrymore, great aunt. Is this it? I don't know. I think we found it from the Time After Time. Yeah, I think this is it. We found it from the Time After Time video that we did. Time After Time. And in that movie, they actually mentioned the 5th of November. Remember, we found 3 time travel movies. 3 years apart. And each one mentioned the 5th of November. The 3 movies are Time After Time, Time Rider, and of course, Back to the Future has the 5th of November in it as well. You think there's something to it? I think there is. I think this is her. Right there, she doesn't really look like Drew Barrymore, but we found some other stuff. All right, I'm back in the chat, you guys. Good one. Oh, is that a quote from a movie, Isaac? Dude, where's my car, Zoltan? Yeah, Time After Time, and then Time Rider. It's spelled like this. The 5th of November. Whoa. Something to it, isn't it? Time travel is possession. That's this big secret. They call it time travel. They just keep hopping down through time until the end of time when Jesus comes back, and then that's the end of everything. It is the appointed time, and they know it, and they control everything now, but they won't for long when Christ's kingdom is established. So no need for worry, but we've got their number, don't we? Yeah, Dude, Where's My Car is a movie. Oh, the whole movie is called Dude, Where's My Car? Okay, thanks. Okay. Yeah, those vintage era photos are creepy, aren't they? My goodness. Yeah, if you look back through vintage era photos, like if you just were to Google search vintage era actors and actresses and just scrolled through the images, you would be blown away. They literally recycled like half of these actors and they look like modern actors. It's crazy. Like you could start a whole YouTube channel out of this, doing side-by-side comparisons. I bet you the birthdays would line up and all this stuff. Okay, what else? Trump gave Harvard $9 billion in endowment. Wow. What was the big secret in Big? Asks KM. Well, you're going to have to go back and watch, but basically, he checks into the hotel, and it's St. James Hotel or Motel. and he's with the boy, so it looks like he's taking the boy into the hotel to do you know what. So, and there's other stuff, of course. You're gonna have to just watch it back through. If I talk too slow, you can put me on 1.5 speed. I don't care. In fact, I watch my own videos at 1.5 speed and everyone else's videos. Helps you get through them faster. Look at the vintage magician posters they would promote. Time Bandits. Keanu Reeves, Dude, Where's My Car movie, time travel telephone booth. Yes. Okay, so we went through the Keanu Reeves Matrix because Reeves is about time travel as well. The reeving is a coil. Coil is the time travel, right? It's another part of this device, whatever they're using to transfer these spirits. It's the reeving coil. So you have the coppersmith Reeve. The first coppersmith in America was Reeve. The redcoats are coming. The redcoats are coming. You also have Christopher Reeve, who also used a telephone booth, right? We have Elon Reeve Musk. Are you awake yet? I hope you are. All right. Wayne's World. Yes, the phone booths and elevators are often the time travel. It's the possession. A great example of the elevator being that mechanism and that device being used for that is in the TV series called, what was it called? Oh my goodness. I can't think of it. Where the guy goes to work. He goes into the elevator and then he's basically, his mind is swapped. So he becomes an employee, but he can't remember his life outside of the establishment. We just decoded that not too long ago. The elevator. One of you will know the answer. Because I've decoded so much stuff, I can't keep it all straight anymore. The reeve. Reeve is a coil. Severance. Thanks, Christina. Yes, the TV series is called Severance. In the elevator. Let's show you some screenshots of that. Severance. Elevator. All right. Memory splitting. It all happens in the elevator. It's a really good series. The last season was kind of lame, but first couple seasons was really good. The elevator. They know all this. That's the crazy thing. Very few people put all the puzzle pieces together, though. Very few people are focused on it, decoding all this stuff. Severance. Yep, Prince died in the elevator. And Prince died on the inverted date of 9/11. He died on April 21st, the Queen of England's birthday, the 111th day of the year. And 9/11 has 111 days left in the year. So they're mirror dates of one another. There you have the twin spirit again. Mirrors and inversions. We have given Israel $3 trillion since 73. Yep. Give away all this money and we still have people breaking people's windows and damaging their property in America. And it's widespread. We can't send patrol cars. Literally, the police departments should be just patrolling. There should be a patrol. Look, if I was the police chief, look, I know this is about money, but there's a lot of corruption. Police officers should not be making $125,000 a year. I'm sorry. They shouldn't. So, you get 2 police officers for every 1 police officer. You pay the police officer $60,000 a year. Okay? And then you send out patrol cars, and they have a sector that they drive around in at night. There's a night shift. 1:30 in the morning is when these people come around, when they think everyone's asleep. And they are asleep. So you send a patrol car You see someone walking around in the middle of the night, and it's called a diversion, right? So if they're not going to be walking around at night if they know a patrol car is going to drive by them and ask them some questions and see if they have any tools in their pocket to break into cars or smash windows, right? So it's going to be safety and security. But instead, it's almost like they let these things happen just to annoy hardworking people. Oh, here, let's do a poll. Okay, start a poll. This is going to be fun. Is your car window broken, or has it been broken in the last year due to, what do they call that? Vandalism. This is going to be a good poll here. I would say, okay, what do you guys think? What's your guess before I start the poll? I'm going to say 50% of you either have a current broken window or a broken window in the past year due to vandalism. I'm going to say, I'm thinking like it's going to be 40 to 50%. Start the poll. And that would be a travesty in America while we're giving away $1 trillion to other countries and writing people tickets for driving 5 miles over the speed limit. Okay, well, it looks like most of you don't have, well, about 90%. So 1 in 10 have a current broken window or have had one in the last year. 1 in 10. 1 in maybe 11, depending on where this falls. Yep, we're being punished for having property. That, I think, is what this is about. Yep, it's about $300 to fix a window. Depending on if it's the back window, it might be more because it's got the electronics in it for the defroster. Now, I don't think we should defund the police, but do we need to go through and remanage the police? Police departments need to be held accountable. If crime is happening and nothing's being done about it, and you can't park your car on the street, and you can't give people a garage to secure their property. Okay, here's an idea. Whoever can come up with a shipping container, and go ahead and steal the idea because I don't really care. Because guess what? The ideas get stolen anyway. It's just gonna get stolen because this is what America is. They steal people's patents and ideas. So someone should come up with a shipping container. Not a real shipping container, but a container that is delivered on a flatbed truck onto your driveway. Right? It has to be the driveway. It can't be the street because that's a street. And the shipping container is wide enough and big enough to park your car in. It doesn't have to be made out of metal. It can be made out of 3D printed plastic. And if they could produce something like that for under, $1,000, you pull your car into the container. The front opens up. You drive in. It's got a side door that is electronically, patched into your car door. So whenever you pull the latch for your car door, the side door of the container opens so that you don't hit your door into the container, right? It opens up, you hit the lock button, your car door, you shut the car door, and then it closes up. That way, none of your windows get broken. And so basically, it's a mobile garage. A mobile garage. Now, I know someone's going to come up with this. We're going to read about it. A mobile garage. They should be able to create something like this and made out of plastic, no windows on it, 3D printed, just tall enough for your car to fit in, just wide enough for your car to fit in. The front opens with some kind of spring mechanism and closes with a few electronics in it. Someone should be able to make that for $1,000. And then your window will never get broken, right? The thing doesn't need a bottom. It just needs sides and a top. That's all it needs. And if someone's that desperate, to try to saw their way through a plastic building, essentially a miniature building, then I don't know. But the only thing that I could see as to why people wouldn't want something like this is because it would probably be a bit of an eyesore if everybody on the street had these in their driveway, right? So yeah, HOAs would probably be opposed to it and everything else. So I don't know, just an idea, you guys. We try to come up with solutions, even though, you know, no one will probably take our advice, but we try to come up with solutions instead of just always complaining about things. There are solutions to all this, believe it or not. But our country is so greedy that everything's motivated by money. And so oftentimes the greatest and best solutions never get used unless someone can make a profit on it, right? You would never be able to make that for $1,000. It's a piece of plastic. Let me give you an example. Well, you actually have a point because the dollar's weakening as we speak. So by the time someone comes up with it, you probably couldn't make that for $1,000. But 5 years ago, you could have easily made that for $1,000. So yeah. So yeah. It's a storage container. You can almost get a storage or a shipping container. Those you can pick up for almost $1,000. Used ones. So, and that's made out of metal. So we're talking about, you know, some kind of composite, which is that's super cheap. Plastic is cheap. You can make that out of nothing. It's basically a storage bin for your car. Exactly, Copperstone Farm. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to pop off of here. Thanks for tuning in. And I love each and every one of you. And have a great rest of your day, everybody. Much love.